What we heard out of this press conference, which continues as we speak, but earlier we were listening in, the constant stress now following President Xi Jinping's yesterday's speech, quoted on state TV, not just epidemic control and prevention, but now bringing in the very same breath social and economic development, epidemic control, poverty elimination, the resumption of work, and the creation of jobs.
And those really are China's economic goals that it has set, and social goals as well that it has set even before this epidemic took place. But just looking from these numbers, we can see that authorities are really wanting to get the economy back on track, getting its businesses back and resuming work. Because, when this epidemic took place, we saw a shutdown in many businesses, factories, manufacturing, and the country literally came to a standstill for a couple of weeks during that Chinese New Year break. But I believe the authorities know that this cannot go on because it will have a huge impact on China's economy, which already saw its slowest growth in 3 decades last year. And so there's that constant push from authorities to get people back to work. And one of the things that has been keen to highlight, and as we are seeing from the new statistics in the number of new confirmed cases that are coming out today, is that the big problem in this epidemic really is in Hubei province, where we see the majority of new confirmed cases and the majority of deaths. But outside of Hubei, it has been keen to highlight that the number of new confirmed cases has actually been on the decline for many days now. And so that is a positive sign. And that is something that they should say that, the virus continues to be an issue in Hubei. And yes, they are going to continue to address that. But the rest of the country really should get back to work with precautions, of course, in place to prevent a further spread. And today we saw authorities saying that good progress has been made in the resumption of work, but large enterprises are doing better than SMEs, and that tech-intensive businesses are doing better as well versus labor-intensive companies. And when it comes to medical supplies, which is a huge concern, we see the production of protective suits, disinfectants, that has gone up. We've also seen an increase in the production of masks, 8.6 times the number of masks that China has been able to produce by February 22nd as compared to the start of the month. And so there's that continued push to, ramp up production in these essential medical supplies, so to continue this fight against the epidemic as well.
We're seeing increasingly this differentiation between high-risk provinces and low-risk provinces. So Xi Jinping yesterday saying low-risk provinces should focus on restoring work and, as you mentioned, production in an all-round way. And part of that, the stress that impact on the economy is short-term, long-term economic fundamentals are not affected. We're hearing this again and again. If you could unpick that message, as one must do at these press conferences, what do you think these various agencies are trying to say about China's economy?
Well, I think definitely there's a sense that China wants to project that it's confident in its economy. It's saying, we heard President Xi saying that yes, the economic impact is inevitable. But like you said, the Chinese authorities are very keen to say that this impact is short-term and that there will be a rebound. And today, again, at the news conference, when asked about whether or not China would be able to meet its social and economic development goals, authorities did say that there are favorable conditions for this. They said, for one, the trend of long-term growth of China's economy has remained unchanged, that consumption, yes, it has dropped, but this is delayed and there's pent-up demand as well. Some industries are also doing better in the midst of this crisis. We're talking about industries like e-commerce, those involved in telecommuting. And authorities are saying that this shows the resilience of the Chinese economy. They also say that they have continuity plans that are in place and normal operation is being resumed. But what was interesting, I also thought, was that authorities continue to acknowledge that there are weaknesses in the way it's managed things. When it comes to social governance, public health facilities, or material reserves, they say that there lies potential for future investment and space for future development, and it will step up, policies in those areas.
So you're stressing, Olivia, even weaknesses now, they're just a chance for future growth, future improvement. So I'm seeing here more laying out this larger picture. For example, the mention of job creation, which surely, when you talk about epidemic control, who's thinking about job creation? But we're hearing Xi Jinping saying it, and these agencies picking up on it. We need to look at job creation, particularly for university graduates.
Exactly, because I mean, when we talk about epidemic control on one hand, China, we have seen take very strong measures, putting cities, provinces under lockdown, but then we are now hearing that they're talking about the economic impact when we talk about the economy. And if businesses are not resuming operation or if they are having difficulties doing that, then jobs will most certainly be affected as well. And when jobs are affected, then social stability could potentially be affected when you have many unemployed people. And so that's why we are hearing, probably that's why Chinese authorities are feeling the need to address this. University graduates, this is usually the graduation season. We're approaching it, and hiring season, but this is all being delayed because of the epidemic. And so authorities are saying they need to expand job creation and to ensure stable employment and facilitate and support corporate recruitment and workers returning to work as well.
Thanks so much indeed for all that. Olivia Siong in the studio.